crafty friends. In this video tutorial, we're going to cut out stamped images using the Brother ScanNCut. And here are the images, these little scissors. Okay, I have 5 of them. We'll see how many get selected. They are from the Crafting Forever stamp set by Stampin Up. And we're continuing along with our Brother ScanNCut series, where in the last tutorial we cut out these borders. I adhered them with glue, so this card is done. This one didn't have a border. This one I adhered the rectangle with rolling adhesive, and then I used foam adhesives for this zigzag border. So we're going to be putting some scissors on this card, and this one I adhered with glue, and then we're going to be putting some scissors on this card. And then we will be finished our cards. And therefore, pretty much finished our series. There's just a couple things I did want to show you, but we'll see if we get to those. Now, I'm going to turn on the ScanNCut. Okay, I've loaded these, I'm sorry, not loaded. I stamped these onto Whisper White cardstock. Excuse me, I dropped my tacky glue. So that's what we have here. I used Memento Black ink because I'm going to be coloring them with some alcohol markers and some Stampin markers, and Memento seems to work good for that. Okay, let me just load the mat. Oh, it says, do you want to retrieve the previous data? No, I don't want to retrieve the previous data. All right. So, just to go back over, I used a Memento Black ink to stamp those scissors. Okay, we're going to go ahead and now, up until this point of the tutorial, we mostly just used, I think we just used the pattern, and we've done a lot with that. This time we're going to be using the scan feature. Because I'm directly cutting these scissors, I'm not saving the scissors, we're going to be using the direct cut feature. We're using black and white recognition mode because there's really high contrast between the scissors and the background. So when you have nice, well-defined black lines, you just use the black and white recognition mode. Okay, that's this here. You can change it to color in there for other reasons, and I have done that on YouTube prior to this. Okay, let's go ahead and hit start. Now, what it's doing is it's scanning in my whole piece of Whisper White cardstock. Remember, we've talked about my mats are not very sticky, so I used some painter's tape on my cardstock so that you could, so that the mat sticks. And when I was using that painter's tape, I made sure not to block any of the lines, the numbers around the mat. Let me just say okay and see how it worked. All 5 scissors are selected. I'm happy with that. And let me show you what I mean though. See how I made sure the painter's tape did not block those numbers because those numbers are needed to register for scanning. Okay, so we're gonna add an outline distance. That's this button here. I usually like to add an outline distance of 0.04 around my scissors. And when we do that, the result will be something like this. Okay, let's put this on there. So you have a little outline distance around what you cut out. Okay, I'm gonna say okay. Now, I want to ignore some of these little bits, so I'm gonna go ahead and say ignore object size. I don't want to ignore an object size as big as my scissors, but we can go ahead and say ignore 1/2 inch. We'll be safe to say ignore 1/2 inch. It'll get rid of some of those little bits, right? And I say okay. Because if I ignore certain object sizes, I could end up ignoring my whole scissors. So all we have left now to do is go into this mode here. This is the editing mode. And I can just delete those little extra bits over there that were selected. I just selected them. I'm going to say okay. I trashed them. We're good. Now we are left with just ready to cut just the scissors out. Now if you recall, this is Whisper White cardstock. So I've changed my blade depth to 5. When I'm using Whisper White cardstock by Stampin Up, I'll have a link to my product in the description. Then I use a blade depth of 5 on my machine. You have to get to know your machine, but that's particularly what I do. Now, it's cutting out. It's going to take a minute. One thing I like to do while my cuts are going, I never walk away from the machine like I do with the Cricut. In the Cricut, the mats are so sticky I can actually walk away. Nothing would happen. In the Brother ScanNCut, if you kind of walk away, sometimes the mat will lift up and it won't cut correctly. Then you've wasted your time stamping. So I'm just kind of, what I'm doing is I'm rubbing. I'm actually just pretty much holding my mat down. You're gonna find out how long yours stick or don't stick. Okay, so next we're gonna remove the mat and then we're gonna do some coloring. I'm gonna head and say, okay. I'm gonna remove, remember, no mystery here. I'd like to show you all the steps. We're removing the mat, say okay. Now, I'm gonna shut my Brother ScanNCut. Here's what we're going for. We want scissors for our cards. We're gonna be coloring these markers. Coloring these with my markers and blends, and I just have a few of them out, so. And I want to mention a couple other things. Okay, so let me just find a card to put these on the back up so you can see. Well, earlier I colored these scissors. Okay, and then I also colored some other scissors I had cut out before. Now this is a technique, I do have a more advanced tutorial on YouTube, and it's called cutting the inside and outside of stamped images, and that's how I got the inside of these scissors to cut out. Then I tied these onto little projects and I made little, they dangled off of things. But for now, this is just a very basic series. I'm just showing you how to just color in these and use them. Okay, we're gonna put them on our cards. So first of all, remember we're just gonna peel the mat away, okay? And we use our spatula, I said, because we don't want to beat up our mat too much. If you bend your mat a lot, like I've been doing, you know, that might be one reason why it doesn't stay sticky, but I think the real reason is I just use them a lot. And they're not very sticky to begin with, and I use my mats a lot. I think I'm up to 10 at this point. I've gone through 10 mats. Okay, so here we are. I'm putting these right here just to show you. And then I'm going to turn the camera a bit. It's because I want you to really be able to see what I'm doing with this coloring. So I'm going to kind of tilt it down where it's now. So here we are. And I have the scissors. Now, I'm going to get something to color on. Alcohol markers tend to bleed through. I'm just going to get one of the piece of cardboard I had so I can color on it. Because I don't want the markers to bleed through. So what I'm going to be using is, I'm using a couple markers. I'm going to use, these are blends by Stampin Up. Okay, dark smoky slate, and I'm going to use dark daffodil delight. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do that for one pair of scissors. And I'm just gonna make, it don't really matter what color you make your scissors. And you can use like more than one color of alcohol markers and blend them, and that's what they're for. But I mean, this is such a small area that I'm just gonna color and be done with it. I'm just gonna use 2 colors and be done with it. So there's the reason I like to use smoky slate a lot is it's a neutral color, and no matter what color your cards are, if you use like a gray for your, then it will always sort of match whatever you're doing because it's a neutral color. And I can actually get away with using a lighter one of this gray. We're not going to use everything I just colored today. I already have some pre-colored, kind of like a cooking show where I already have some pre-colored. And so you're not going to get to see me color them all. I think I used lighter smoky slate when I was doing the last one. So there's, oh no, actually this is mint macaron. Actually, okay, where did I get that from? I got that from a pack of markers. Remember I told you the color was retired. So there's 2015 to 2017 in colors, okay? And mint macaron was part of that set. And then, I was just, oh, here it is, the next one. I told you that it's retired, but I still had a lot of cardstock, and I've been using it for these projects. And then later on in the video series, I said, hey, Stampin' Up! Brought back mint macaron, which is pretty cool. So you can buy it again. And this time, you're not buying it in a set of markers like this. You're buying it, you know, just as an individual color. You can buy it single. You can buy it stamp pad, ink. And when you buy the refills of the ink, you can mix it with embossing paste and do all kinds of fun stuff with textures. All right, so we're just coloring in. We're using mint macaron, and you can use your Stampin' markers, or you can use the Stampin' Blends. And I'm using the Stampin' Blends for this pair of scissors. Oh, and I know that this particular shade of marker does match the cards I'm working on. So where are we? Where are our cards? Here we go. There's where cut out to be friends. And I have another one like that. Here you go. So we're going to finish off this project by doing that. We're going to take some dimensionals and I'm going to stick them on. And like I said, I've already colored a lot of them. So we varied up a bit. We can, that one has green, or not green, mint macaron handles and mint macaron bottom. And then this one has, so we'll put 2 scissors on there. I'm going to turn one. I think it'd be nice, like if they're turned a little bit different ways. And then this one, we're cut out to be friends. Remember I told you that gray would kind of go with any color. I'm going to put, I'll put one that way and one that way. So you just try, you know, just do your layouts and you see what works. And that's how you know how to put your cards. Okay, there's a lot more we can do with the Brother ScanNCut. I'm just adding some dimensionals onto my scissors. Now, in a course that I've developed for Udemy Academy, okay, it is only $9.99 with the coupon code in the description. I do go over a lot more. I talk about how to cut out pattern paper. I talk about how to save your images. Like if you're used to making a lot of projects and you want to save your images and use them again, or save your shapes and your patterns, then I do show you how to do that in another course. We can't do everything in this one series. And also, I really probably need to mail these cards out. You know, I've been working on this a while, and you're probably wondering, who is R? Okay, well, R is my friend Rachel. I'm trying to thank her for supporting my new Etsy shop. So anyway, that's who R is, and I have that card here, and that one was ready to go. So that I'm going to mail this. That's why I'm glad we're done that part of the series. And then I have some crafty friends. See, I just attached these scissors with dimensionals, and I'm sending those to those friends. Okay, so these cards are done. Just need to attach those and have another thank you card here using the borders. What's really great about the Brother ScanNCut is your mats and layers are perfect. They're perfect every time. Now, when I cut out this plaid one, I probably could have, since we're not using the whole mat, we're only showing the edge, I probably could have cut out another inside shape out of it and got a lot more out of that one paper, but I have a lot of paper, so wasn't worried about it. And just what's really, really great is that I don't have to worry about lining things up. Everything's perfectly aligned because I cut them precisely with the blade of the Brother ScanNCut. And when you use your paper trimmer, sometimes things get a little wonky when you're cutting. So I thank you for staying with me for this entire series. If you just got here to find the beginning of the series, there's a link in the description. If you just stuck with me all this time, please use my coupon code and check out my basics course on Udemy Academy, and I'll be developing an advanced class as well for Brother ScanNCut. So thank you, crafty friends. This is the Paper Chef signing off.